Well, hello. So we had a small technical difficulty. I clicked, I clicked, go live. This thing came up that said reconnect. It didn't say it before I hit it. It said, um, is it working? Subject today, is it working? Yeah, sure. Sure it is. For you? Everybody else? All right. The universe is amazing. How to keep everybody on their toes. Wait till the last minute. Alrighty then. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Abby Hagyard, and this is Welcome to Abbey World because, gosh, it sure is interesting in Abbey World. So, I was looking at a couple of things the last few days. We have an ongoing saga with how many times is it going to take the legal and financial people to figure out that they're facing the wrong way. And in the midst of me taking breaths and finding my way to not need a paper bag to breathe into, um, I saw this item advertised on social media, and 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 it. I said to myself, "Oh, okay. Here's the thing." So it was a bracelet, and it wasn't necessarily for men or for women. It was for something to wear to anchor yourself. And and what's inscribed on the inside of the bracelet is supposed to be um, a go get 'em, you got this, right? And here's what it said. It said, when the days get hard, don't let them win. When the days get hard, don't let them win. And I said to myself, oh, okay, so we need to talk about this. We need to talk about a couple of things. And I think the most important thing to talk about is the fact that we have an opportunity all the time to choose up or down. We have an opportunity to see what we're dealing with as overwhelming us, above us, looming, or something that we have owned. We're standing on, we're solid, we got this. It's our choice all the time. All the time, every day. I had dinner the other night with someone who kept finding things to be overwhelmed by and really had to go looking for things to be overwhelmed by, things that were not even, you needed farsighted glasses to go find them, and spent most of dinner doing that. And every single one that was introduced, I said, I don't really think that's dinner conversation. And I smiled. I didn't engage, I didn't discuss, because it's not where I live. It's not what I do. And I didn't want to ruin my dinner. And I wasn't even invested in whether or not they were ruining theirs. Um, and I thought, why would you do that? And then I thought, why do I care? I, I don't need to know why they would do it. It's not mine to wonder. It's not mine to fix. It's not mine to be part of. It's not mine. And it's so seductive. It is so easy to lean in and say, let me help you with that, when they haven't asked for our help, when they're perfectly comfortable there. And our job is to, inside our head, draw that little heart-shaped line in the sand and go stand inside that line. And they can live on the outside. They can stay at the beach. They can walk in the sand. They can do whatever they want, but they are not inside our hearts. They're not inside our energy. They're not inside our goals. They're not inside our vision of the world. They're there. We are here. And good morning, Charles. And the reason I say that is because energy and emotions are contagious. I've talked about this before. Somebody sneezes in a room and suddenly everybody's sneezing. Somebody coughs and everybody coughs. If somebody's nervous, the people around them start vibrating with the same nervous energy. Then the people around them start doing it. And so how we fix that, how we stop it in its tracks, is by choosing up or down. Are we up or are we under? Are we walking here? Are we owning it? Or are we overwhelmed? And the difficult thing about that is that our currency is emotion, is feelings. Our primal brain, our primitive brain, does 95% of the work. The conscious brain's 5%. 95% is in charge. Believe me, when you add up the numbers, 95% is in charge. And all the things that the subconscious brain does are predicated on, is it safe? That's basically it. Is it safe? Are we okay? If not, action stations. That's how it works. So our job, when we can stay focused, when we can find a way, a tactic, a hack that allows us to connect and communicate with that emotional brain, is to find a hook, a tactic that brain recognizes. Because when the days get us down, when the days get hard, don't let them win. Okay, you know what a day is? A day is 24 hours. Before clocks and watches, a day is from the same point in the sun or the moon. Again, that's a day. The day doesn't get hard. The day is the day, period, paragraph, new conversation. What we perceive in it, where we are during that cycle, may or may not be a challenge for us. If it's a challenge, it's our job to figure out how to meet it, master it, or distance from it. How do we do that when we're terrified, when we're screaming, when we're running in circles, when we're yelling, "You're not the boss of me"? We need to have a hack. We need to have a habit so simple that no matter what our mood is, we can teach our subconscious brain to deal with it. I mean, our subconscious brain gets us up, takes us to the bathroom when we need to go. We don't have to remember what to do. It remembers for us. And the urgency with which we need to go, it takes care of. It remembers how we brush our teeth. It remembers how we wash our hands. It remembers how we put on our shoes. We don't have to consciously tell ourselves every step in all of these little practices. We learned them by mirroring somebody who taught us when we were one. And we do it all the time, every day. So a hack that is going to get us to the place where is it working has to be that simple. It has to be so simple. We don't even have to think about it. And the subconscious brain says, yeah, that works. And the reason the subconscious brain will say that is because it has a lot of work to do. And the more things that are easy, simple, no-brainers, literally, it welcomes, right? Once we figured out how to drive, and the subconscious brain said, well, this is easy, right up until something leaps out at us. This is okay, I can do this. And that's why we drive half the time having no memory of where we were until suddenly something happens. There's a red light. There's a guy who jumps out. On these new cars, the car suddenly goes beep, scares the living daylights out of me. I have a car that gets hysterical as I'm backing up. I'm looking, I'm doing it the way I've always done it. And I look in the mirror, everything's fine. And the car's going beep, 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 beep. And I'm thinking, oh God, where's the button to shut that off? Chill, would you? So, first of all, when the days get hard, days don't get hard. What they're trying to say is when we struggle, take heart, take the breath. Don't let them win. It's a day. It's a time. Things don't win. People do. What is wrong is something we get to fix. How do we fix it? Do we have to fight it? No, we don't have to fight it. Can we separate ourselves from it? Of course we can. Do we have to work our way through it? All right, let's find the way. Let's find the easy way. Let's find the most direct way. Let's find the way we're good at. It's brand new. We never did it before. Okay. Chances are huge that it's a lot like something else. Chances are enormous it's a lot like something else. So, what is my fantabulous hack? 5 steps. I mean, physically. Take 5 steps back. Physically? Yes, take 5 steps back. What if I can't? Yes, you can. Almost anywhere. Sitting in the car? No. Practice before that. Get good at it. Get gooder at it. Then go sit in the car. What do the 5 steps do? All right. If I'm standing directly in front of the mirror, because I'm nearsighted when I take off my glasses, gray cars on gray days, not a good thing. So when I stand in front of the mirror and I take my glasses off, I need to be there to, put makeup on and stuff. When I want to see what I look like, all told, I need to take steps back. Why? So I can see the bigger picture. Oh yeah, good point. Because otherwise, if I'm 5 steps closer, the only thing in the picture is my this. So we take 5 physical steps back from anything. Take a look at what you're doing. Close your eyes. Okay, open. 5 steps back. Close your eyes. Now look at it. Oh, okay. Now you see a different picture. Once you get good at that, you do the same thing with an issue. Is it working? Is it working is the question. The 2 sub-questions for you, for us, or for them. Is it working for you? Okay. Is it working for them? Not so much? Okay. Does it matter if they're happy? Yes. All right then. There's work to do, isn't there? How can we judge how well it's working? 5. This exercise is brought to you by the number 5. 5. 1 is not so good. 5 is exceptional. Why not to 10? You don't need to 10. You already know by 3. We could do to 3, but 5 gives you more room to play. Okay? If it's 1, you already know you didn't need to count. You thought this recipe was working. It doesn't look anything like it does in the picture. Oh, Charles, pay attention to the doctor. You can watch me later. The doctor is important. Where's the heart doctor? Listen to the heart doctor. Okay. Remember, Charles, multitasking, the definition is to do many things badly. Don't do that. You can see me later. 1 to 5. 1 is not so good. 2 is improving. 3, okay, we're getting there. 4, all right. 5, yes. That's how this is. These are all emotional reactions to numbers because we're talking to the subconscious, and we want the subconscious to understand that it is not ignored. It is very important. We need to equate how we feel to numbers. Why? Because numbers are things that other people understand. You know, this thing that I'm always saying, that we can only see the world through our own eyes. We have our own filters. Even if we're identical twins, we're standing right next to each other and we see the same thing. We don't actually see it exactly the same way because the angles matter. If I'm standing here and my identical twin is standing there, what they see is from that angle and what I see is from this angle. It's not the same thing. We get a different vision. If we both take 5 steps back, we now have a better chance of seeing most of it in a similar way. It still requires a way to understand, define the terms when you say, oh my God, I love that. Okay, but what does that mean? Oh my God, I love that. It's like, is it hot in here? And somebody says, hot? I was just going to go get a sweater. See, these are very subjective terms. We need to have terms that are not subjective, terms that are objective. If we all agree that 1 is for beginners and 5 is awesome, then what we can start to do is say, and 3 is like a pass. 3 is okay. If we say 1 is for beginners, 5 is awesome, and 3 is a pass, then we can start to grade the direction we're going. If it's a 2, it means that it's a little better than a 1, right? If we're at 3, okay, all right, okay. But we want better than a pass, all right. If it's 4, it means we're getting there. And if it's 5, yes, we can spike the ball. If everybody understands that that's what the numbers mean, then if we have a conversation, instead of saying, good morning, Freddie, how are you? If we have a conversation based on numbers and we know what the values are that we've given the numbers, then instead of saying, how are you and how is it going, if we say, on a scale of 1 to 5, is it working? Is the look working? You bought the sweater, you tried it on. Is it working? Can you make this work with that pair of pants and those boots and this jacket? Is it working? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's not working today. It's 20 something degrees. I don't know what 20 is in the other number at the moment, but it's warm. It's really warm and it's lovely and it's sunny and it's amazing because, by the way, it's the 3rd of October where we are. I mean, it's the 3rd of October. You know what I mean. So is it working? We understand how to grade it now, right? 1 is, yeah. 2 is okay, better. 3 is pass. 4 is okay, improving. And 5 is awesome. Simple, right? Now, practice that on everything. Every time you walk in a room to go get a coffee. Oh, by the way, cheers. You walk in a room to go and get a coffee. You're standing at the coffee maker. Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we need to clean the kitchen today? Yes. Immediately? No, we're good. We're at a 3. I'll do it later. Okay. Write it down. Got to clean the kitchen. Now you can take the steps up to the coffee maker. Make the coffee. Pour the coffee, get the whatever, put it in it, right? You see, it's very simple. Walk in the bathroom, walk in the bedroom, walk into the garage. Before you put your hand on the car, 5 steps back. How's the car looking? Flat tires? No? Awesome. Leaks underneath? No? Awesome. Get in the car, start the car. Fuel? Awesome. Is that a 5? Yes. Oops, wait, did the car need a wash? No, it's okay. How okay? It's a 3. Okay, so we're going to wash it by the end of the week? Yeah. See? You see? So simple. So simple. 5 steps. 1 is entry level. 2 is better. 3 is a pass. 4 is getting there. 5 is awesome. That is how we grade everything. Is it working? 1 out of 5. 68 degrees. Thank you, Freddie. 20 is 68. Freddie is my translator today, ladies and gentlemen. Freddie Moore. So that's the basic exercise. That's the hack. The number today is 5. When you're looking at things and we're up close and personal, how long does it take? Really, 10 seconds. Take 5 steps back. Everything okay? Count to 5. Anything at 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Give it a number. If it's 3, it needs work soon, but not right now. Even if it's 1, can we get away with it for a bit? Like, are we in a hurry? Okay. Now take those 5 steps, come up close, do the thing you were doing. Grade everything. Why? Because numbers are numbers are numbers. I really love it is subjective. We need to be objective so that we can have clear conversations with other people. Now, after is it working? The 2 sub-questions. Is it working for us? One of the things that I read this morning, fabulous Seth Godin, he said people are caught up in judging ourselves very harshly or over the top fabulous. Why? Because it's all subjective. Whatever story we were told, we're following that plot line, that trajectory, those supposed facts. What if the story is incorrect? Not that anybody lied, but what if the story is incorrect? If we are really hard on ourselves, who taught us to do that? Somebody gave us the idea that we are not good enough. Somebody had to plant that because we're not born with that. That is something that gets implanted. Well, if it's implanted, we can pull it out and toss it. We can plant something in its place. We're the gardeners, right? We're the authors. This is our story. So if we're looking in the mirror and we're saying really, really down negative things, clearly it's not working. So instead of saying, look at you, you're this, you're that, you're the other, those are subjective words. Those have been given to us. We do not need to keep them. They may have been handed to us with the best of intentions. They may have been handed to us as weapons. Hopefully, we would self-inflict and the other person doesn't have to get their hands dirty. Draw the heart-shaped line in the sand. Take those words and put them on the other side of the line, right? Step inside the heart-shaped line. Respect the person from afar who maybe had good intentions. Do not carry that message with you. We do not need to carry that. That is not ours to own. Ours to own is what is the number when we look in the mirror and we see ourselves on a scale from 1 to 5. Are we entry level, improving? It's a pass, getting great, awesome. Give ourselves a number. And the reason I want you to do this for you, for us, is I want us to get in the habit when we have time, when we're going to do a little self-care, a little self-work, I want us to look at that number. I want us to write that number at the top of a page. And I want us to use words that explain why we chose that number. Why are we a 1? When we look in the mirror and we look at our face and we look at our teeth or our hair or our weight or our height, why are we a 1? What is it about what we see that rates a 1? Write it down. What is it going to take to get to 2? Write it down. What about 3? Write it down. Don't say, oh, I could never, oh, I don't deserve, or I'm just like, that's not this exercise. Just do the exercise. Do the work. Why did you give yourself a 1? a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. Write it down. Why? Because what you're doing in taking the time to do this on your self-care day is you're explaining the values you've given the numbers. Put that in your later folder, because that's going to be homework that you're going to come back to. And you're going to come back to it later in the day when things have gone well. And you're going to look at those numbers and say, okay, I've got a different definition for 3. I've got a different definition for 2 and 1 and 4. Cool. Change them up. Date, number, value. And keep track. Why? Because we get into habits of beating ourselves up without even realizing it. We get into habits of comparing ourselves unfavorably to people without even realizing it. You know what happened on Saturday night? My apartment is very near a university. And the university's football team, every fall, they have this big competition with the other university football team in Ottawa. And this university won. And they had a DJ outside, and they had stuff set up in the parking lot. It's across the street from me. And so it didn't matter if I'd had sound deaders and windows closed, and I was in the basement. The music was rocking. Now they shut it down at exactly the right time. They didn't do anything wrong. They did exactly the right thing. And by the way, they had music going in the morning as the kids were all coming out and getting lined up to go on the buses over to the other university. And it was all pumping and jumping and whatnot. And I'm sure there were people in the building who said, oh my, and I was listening to it and I was thinking, okay, this is good house cleaning music. I'm going to use it. And then, by the way, I never really got into the whole football thing when I was in college in the States. I never really got into it. And by the time I came back to Canada and I finished university, I was sort of out of step with it. And I never boarded a bus with music playing and headed off with a million other people wearing the school sweater to cheer on my team. And so, ironically, this weekend I got a chance to do that. And I didn't have to get on the bus. I could see the buses coming and loading and leaving, and I could see them coming back and unloading, and I could listen to the music, and I got to enjoy it. I had a glass of wine and I had my dinner, and it was really awesome. And I could have taken it in another whole path. Why did I say it was a 5? Because I didn't have to do any of the heavy lifting, and I didn't have to do any of the work, and I got to enjoy the benefits of all that effort and energy and excitement and enthusiasm that those people put on for those kids. And I thought, all right, this is working for me. So I had a choice. Freddie, what are you saying here? We learn to be better and do better than what we used to do. Yes, we learn to find the upper level us all the time. And the reason, thank you, Freddie, that's really valuable. And the reason I'm going through this is kind of funny. This thing I read, when the days get hard, don't let them win. Okay, so days don't get hard or easy, right? Good morning, Eddie. Days don't get anything. Days are, period. It's a period of time. Don't let them win. Okay, do you notice, first of all, the expression is well intended, but it's incorrect in presenting what a day represents, and it is incorrect in saying don't let them win, because we don't let things win. Things win. We have no control over what things don't win. We have no control over things other people do, actions other people take. If somebody wins, that means they brought more to the moment than we did. It's not a question of allowing So it's incorrect. It's putting all kinds of pressure and guilt and victimhood on us and positioning us as helpless. And there's no need to do that. There's no need to do that. On top of that, there's no instruction on how to correct the position. There's no instruction. There's no how to. There's no steps. So the person is left feeling more helpless than they were in the beginning. And it's not done purposefully. Here's what happens. We get so far down the path of where we want to be, we forget what it was like back at level 1. We forget what it was that caused us to say, it may have been not that bad, it is now not good enough. Here is what I'm going to do. We forget that. And we say, just say no. It's not that simple. Simple is the steps it takes to get us from here to there. And the steps are basic. 5. First, you take those 5 steps back to see the bigger picture with us in it. You can't see the forest for the tree. We are the tree. Here we are at the mirror. The only thing we can see is the tree. There's a forest. Oh my gosh, there's a forest. So we take our 5 physical steps back and analyze what's going on. Everything we perceive, we first perceive from an emotional place. That's that brain. It's been around for billions of years. And this little conscious stuff going on moved in recently. This little conscious stuff is not in charge. What we are aiming to do with these exercises, with these life hacks, with these how-tos, is figure out how to get these 2, the front guys and the back guy, collaborating. That's what we want. We want partnership going on here. So, physically 5 steps back. Rate the thing we're looking at. 1 is entry. 2 is better. 3 is a pass. 4 is improving. 5 is awesome. It's all there are. Write it down. When we have time, maybe not now, you know what you can do? Keep a little Post-it note stacked beside your mirror in the bathroom. Do that with a pen. Every day. Take a look. Take the 5 steps back. Pick up the pen, write the number. Write the date. There. Put another Post-it stack in every room. Put one in your car. Take a second. Write it down. Put them in the later folder. Beneath the number and the date, what does it mean? What does 1 mean? You hate your what? Okay, change the word hate. Why? Because it's contagious. Unnecessary. This change the word hate is what you do when you're opening the later folder, right? You're going to change it. You're going to analyze all this stuff when you have time. When do you find time? Every day. It takes like less than 5 minutes. Everybody has 5 minutes, unless it's not that bad and you're in a comfort zone. Then in that case, okay. But if you want to change, if you want to own change, because it's your idea, because it's not that bad, just hit a wall and now it's not good enough, this is the hack. Once we do that and we assign the words, we now know what the numbers mean to us. And then when we want to get really good at it, if we want to write down the date under the number, we also want to write down the time. Next time we're back in a bathroom and it's no longer a 1, It's a 3. Look at the time. Interesting. When we're in a bathroom again and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, look at the time. Write it down. How do we feel? And what we're going to start seeing is during the day where our waves are. So that if we typically have a 1 moment at some point, is that consistent? Do we have a low ebb? All right, what are we going to do to change that? Is it food? Do we need to rest? Did we fall over a pebble and our foot has swelled up? Put your foot up. Really? These solutions are simple, repeatable habits. This is what the subconscious brain is brilliant at. We have to learn them. We have to repeat them until the subconscious brain is okay and says, I got this. What does that do? It gives our subconscious brain options. Instead of always defaulting to fear, always defaulting to anger, rejection, it has choices. We've given it choices that make sense. It gets to choose. Instead of 1, 3, because 3 equals this, and this is how it feels. Okay then. Instead of fight or flight or flee or hide or comply, what if it's happy? What if it's excited? What if it's curious? What if it's proud? What if it's tap dancing? What if we give it new defaults to go to with practice to create new habits? Subconscious brain is very good at learning new habits. So is it working for you, for us? Is it working for you? No? Why not? What's the number? Write it down. What does it mean? When did you feel it? When you have time, when you have a self-care day, what can we do to change that? What can we do to fix it so it is working for us? It's our thing. It's our moment. It's our emotion. How do we change it? Do we step away from things? Okay, nothing wrong with that. Do we think of a different attack? Okay, nothing wrong with that. Do we figure out a way to compromise, to adjust? Okay, nothing wrong with that. Okay, is it working? Is it working for you? Now, very important, and it's in this order for a reason. Is it working for them? Now, the reason this matters is because no man is an island, all right? Even if you're alone on an island, there are plants and critters and bugs, right? And weather. We are not isolated. We are not alone. Is it working for them on a scale of 1 to 5? No? All right then. How can we fix it? What is it we can do? If we can't change what it is there a way we can collaborate, compromise to make it work? No? Then maybe we have to absent ourselves from this place and go someplace else. If we are in business, if we have a job, if we are in relationships, these are two-way experiences all the time. It's never not two ways. Whether it's a colleague, whether it's a customer, whether it's a friend, whether it's in a buy and sell situation, whether it's navigating our way along a path with other people, is it working for them? Is it working for us? Is it working? It's working. All right, it's working for us. Yeah, I don't really like being on crowded roads like this. All right, we can take a different road. No, I don't want to take a different road because I want to get there faster. All right, well then how is it working if we stay on this busy road? And it's a 3, but I'm willing to compromise. Fair enough. Is it working for them? Well, clearly not. There's a lot of horn honking and people yelling. Is that bothering you? Is that upsetting you? Yes. Okay. If it's not working for them, clearly it's affecting you. Let's go back. If it's not working for you, what can you do? I went shopping the other day with my friend. And to get from where she lives to where I am, she found herself on a highway with everything closed but one lane and all the exits blocked for some reason. And then she noticed that there were people cutting out and trying to cut in ahead of the next guy. And tempers were rising, and she felt her own rising. And she said, I don't experience road rage very often, but I could see it. I could sense it. I could feel it overtaking me. And I was on my way to meet you, and we were going to go and have an amazing day shopping. And I did not want that to taint what I was going to have a great time. And she said, and just as I was finding it overtaking me, all of a sudden, the problem was solved. There was a fair amount of congestion and screaming and yelling and bumping of horns and raising fists as people managed to find their lanes again. And then she was on the highway, and the next thing she knew, she was at my place. Poof, everything was fine. And when she got out of the car, and I'm standing there, and she's shaking her head, and she said, boy, what a challenge that was. And I said, what happened? And she told me. And I said, are we okay? And she said, yeah, we're good now. And she said, but I really didn't want it to ruin my day. And I was working really hard to refuse to allow it to overwhelm me. But boy, it was a challenge. Well, can you imagine if it were any one of the other people screaming and yelling, fists raised, honking horns? It had overwhelmed them. They weren't conscious. They weren't present in the right way. They were allowing that to change everything for them. Why? Why were they allowing it? I'll tell you why. They didn't know they had the solution. They didn't know that they could own the moment. They didn't know that there is a process, that there is a hack, that there are steps. And because they didn't know, they felt helpless. And that raging larger emotion, all swirling around their car, all that toxic stuff, that's what they ended up mirroring. My friend fought it for 10 minutes. And just when she thought she wasn't going to win, whew, there was a break. The problem solved itself. And she was in the free and clear. And she said, it's really funny. The whole way here, I was saying to myself, it would have been an entirely different start to our day because we would have had to talk about it. We would have had to deal with it before we hit the road. And she was right. Because we were not going to let this hair that I have in my eye to ruin our moment. How funny is this? I have an eyelash. I have one that has joined the other side. All right, hang on. This is crazy. I hate it when a little hair gets in your eye and it pokes you and you can't focus on anything else. But what a great metaphor for what I'm talking about. What is the first step? Take a step back. Take the glasses off. There we go. See? See how fast? See how easy? Work in progress. We solve problems. Problems don't solve us. Oh, Freddie, genius. There are easy and great ways to level up. And the fabulous news is they're simple. So today, 5. Take 5 steps back. What did I just do with 5 steps? I took my glasses off so that whichever little hair had poked itself down in behind my glasses was revealed. And then I took the moment while I'm telling you what I'm doing. You saw me do it. And I found it and I pulled it and it went away. Thank you. Bye. Was the hair deliberately attacking me? No, no, it's a hair. Was I breathing or something and it just moved? Yes. Who was moving? Me. Ah, okay. So I get to own it. I get to recognize it. I get to fix it. Not only the metaphor, but the method. That easy. So today's conversation is about choosing our battles and using battle tactics to find the simple win. There's a great quote by a legendary fight philosopher, Sun Tzu. If you want to look it up, his book is called The Art of War. And one of his statements, one of his philosophies is this: he who is first on the field of battle controls the enemy. He who is first on the field of battle controls the enemy. Why? Because he who is first is ready. He who is first has had time to take the steps back, to assess, to plan, to identify the goals 1 through 5, to prepare. And when the enemy arrives, sucks to be them. He who is first on the field of battle controls the enemy. The simple tactic is 5 steps back, 5 levels of values, what they mean, why we feel them, how we level up. Take the time to take care of you first. Is it working? Is it working for you? Is it working for them? Have a great day, everybody. When I do it this way, that's the wrong message to send. Have a great day, everybody. The reason I shake my head is in wonder at how fortunate I am that you're here and that you've chosen to spend the time with me. That's what the head shake is for. It should be this. I just learned something today. So today is Tuesday. I will be back on Thursday, same time, with another interesting installment. Welcome to Abbey World. And I can't thank you enough for doing this with me, for walking this path with me. It means everything. And I want you to know that. It's an absolute, unqualified, unconditional 5. Every time, all the time. So be good to you. You deserve it. Remember to hug your loved ones. They deserve it too. And I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.